Guys, friends, Romans, Guardians, please. Do I really have to sit here and explain to you, you Giga Chad 4000 IQ genius, why the Ace of Spades is still the best hand cannon? Do I have to spell it out? Because I will. I'm more than capable of doing that. But like, we all know what's going on, right? Like it's Ace of Spades. It's been doing its thing, just absolutely walking through nerf after attempted nerf after different meta, forced metas, different changes. It's still here. It's like the cockroach of Destiny 2. It will survive the nuclear apocalypse. We will be here 200 years later. Video games will no longer exist. And somewhere in like a building, there will still be someone who has like a monument to the days gone by of this treasured object in a video game, as they say. And it's Ace of Spades. It's just a weird thing, right? Ostringer comes back this season. Don't care. Ace of Spades better. We got Crimson, got some nice quality of life changes. It doesn't matter. Ace of Spades better. Thorn, pretty good. Great dueling weapon. Definitely a little bit underrated. Not better than Ace of Spades. Fatebringer, Dire Promise, Lumina, Hawkmoon, Palindrome, Cantata, Christ Inverted, and if you're feeling a little bit saucy, Nation of Beasts in the Last Wish raid, and Sunshot. Who cares? Ace of Spades better. Like, that's just how it be. And before we get into the specifics of why, make sure you guys take a second, like the video, subscribe to the channel for more content coming your way. We're almost at 6,000 subscribers. Help us get there. It's on our road to 10,000 subscribers as well. And every time you like, every time you leave a comment, helps us out in the YouTube algorithm. Greatly appreciated. And let's get back to the unhinged review. Alright, so if you've been living under a rock, maybe you haven't played Destiny, or you just simply are not aware, Ace of Spades is an interesting weapon, as Bungie went for the more is more strategy when bringing this D1 veteran back, and gave Ace of Spades every perk in the game. It gets Kill Clip that never runs out, it gets High Cals that do more damage than other High Cals, its Kill Clip does more damage than other Kill Clip, it gets Outlaw, it gets Firefly, its Callus gives it even better Firefly. It does everything. Ace of Spades, as I said once famously, it does your taxes, it cleans your laundry, it walks your dog. It does everything you want it to do because it's Ace of Spades. It can do no wrong. And the best part about it is that it takes damage boosts beautifully, and its damage bullets with Memento Mori inflict more flinch. So you get a kill. Maybe you spread Radiant, the easiest to spread damage buff in the history of Destiny. And then all of a sudden you're 2-tapping with a 140 hand cannon and deleting everybody, and you have 6 shots to do this. Oh, and yeah, hey, your damage boost refreshes on every kill, so you can chain this forever. It's just that easy. As long as you are alive, the memento is in your Mori, and therefore the kills are in your feed. It's a perfect weapon. It's too good. It's been nerfed like 7 times, and it survives. It will never go away. And, here's the thing, right? A lot of people will argue, well, well, my Palindrome adept with a rangefinder, it outranged Ace of Spades. It's the highest range hand cannon in the game, and it doesn't take up an exotic slot, therefore I can finally craft my build to dominate in this specific scenario. And, the Ostringer is back and better than ever, and with the superior stats and access to rangefinder. And it's like, none of that matters, because who cares about 4 meters of range, right? Because since I have Momentum Mori active, I'm equally in your range regardless. And, hey, listen, if you're sitting there with your protractor and your ruler and you're measuring out to exactly your damage fall off edges, great, I'm glad, I'm happy for you. But in a real game scenario, rarely are you on the fringes of damage fall off with these weapons. So most of the time when you're dueling against an Ace of Spades player, they still have the advantage with their turbo high cals and high damage, and your extra range and rangefinder just doesn't matter as much. There's no getting around it. Ace of Spades is as strong, as lethal as something like No Time to Explain. But whereas what No Time to Explain does is so oppressive to the game because its base time to kill is so much faster than the average, Ace of Spades is held in line by that 140 RPM hand cannon base time to kill. That 0.87 seconds is such a nice sweet spot for the game that obviously your other hand cannons can still compete. The weapons that are faster get the advantage in their certain niches like pulse rifles at range, SMGs up close, sidearms up close. And so you're allowed to play around Ace of Spades and still potentially win your duels. When Ace of Spades gets super oppressive in that no time to explain tier is when you start abusing stacking damage boosts. As soon as you're able to 2-tap with your Memento Mori stacks, that's when Ace gets ridiculous. It allows you to chain these huge kill streaks. When you start using stuff like combining the Firefly with Chromatic Fire to spread huge AoE on your headshots, these are the things that can help put Ace over the line into that extremely strong, overpowered territory. And it's that versatility that makes Ace of Spades by far the best hand cannon in the game. Just again, that contrast, where no time to explain being the best pulse rifle in the game is very bad for the meta. Ace has been here forever, it's been this strong for years, and the game does seem to be able to adapt. As much as I hate getting killed by it, and I do, it's no doubt that the game isn't like super unhealthy because Ace of Spades exists. Ace of Spades is just very, very strong. And listen, if you're the type of person you don't like to grind, you don't like to hunt for god rolls, just go get Ace. Go grind the Catalyst. Go put 17,000 kills on it. Make it the only weapon you ever use. Because you can pair it with snipers, you can pair it with shotguns, you can pair it with fusions. As long as you don't like exotic special weapons, it's just perfect. You don't need anything else. Alright, that's really all I have to say about Ace of Spades. There's nothing really more to go over. You can use it with anything, any loadout, and you will do well. So I want to take a second and flip to another topic. Normally I would say this for a different video, because of kind of the nature of how the YouTube algorithm works, it's not really worth it in terms of what we can expect view-wise to do it. So if at this point you're just here for the Ace of Spades video and you want to click off the video, go ahead. If you want to stick around and hear some very honest, candid thoughts about the state of criticism, our relationship with Bungie and the Crucible, please stick around. I would highly recommend it, because if you're active on the Destiny2 Twitter space, then you might be aware of a thread that went pretty viral the other night from a user named Accurate, who was just kind of simply asking, what if we lived in a world where every week alongside the TWAB, we got like a PvP specific TWAB. And this prompted a pretty lengthy response from DMG, the community manager, as well as a huge amount of feedback from other people within the community. And I'll link the tweets in the description down below, because it's worth it to read on your own time, because there's quite a lot to go into. A lot of it we won't really touch on here. But to kind of summarize the whole discussion, DMG kind of lays out that in an ideal world, yes, we would be able to communicate like this, but by the nature of how game development works, where things can sometimes be isolated to hot fixes or updates, sometimes stuff takes months or seasons or a long time out to get planned, tested, and made, it's very hard to kind of spot fix and adjust communication to acknowledge or present changes to pain points within the community. And that these things are very difficult to plan out and maintain, especially when the team is also focused on developing new content alongside it. And so it's just kind of, this is something that if you know a lot about game development, is that these developers are working constantly, and it's so hard to keep up with the nature of a live service game, especially one of Destiny's size, and keep up constantly with changes and tweaks as well as new and fulfilling content. And the bottom line is, and this is where the discussion really got interesting, is that yeah, Bungie can continue to be as transparent as possible, but how worth it is it for them when there is such a loud vocal portion of the community that's so openly hostile towards the devs? And this is the Kevin Giannis thing, and we've talked about this before, but the Kevin Giannis situation was truly disgusting, and honestly, it might have closed our kind of like candid window to talk with Bungie developers individually outside of the official communications presented by Bungie as a company. Like, now we're in a state where it's basically impossible for like someone like me as a YouTuber who my entire channel is PvP, it's reviewing, it's digging in and understanding how things work. If I had a question about how certain perks interact, or how certain exotics work in X situation, or how does certain aim assist values work here and there, or whatever, I can't shoot an email to Kevin Giannis and maybe I'll get a response in like a few weeks, or he could pull me towards an article or like a previous thing he said. That's no longer possible, because from Kevin Giannis' perspective, why the hell would I try and judge through the minefield of abuse to find the genuine good faith criticisms or people who just want to reach out? And this is very much a bet we've made, and I do stress we, because we're all part of the community and we're all in this together. So if there are people who are acting out, they make the entire community look bad. And that's how we get to a situation like this. And it's awful because Bungie, not even like a year and a half, 2 years ago, so much more candid about communication. This is something I tried to go back and find it on my own personal YouTube channel way long ago, like back during like the Forsaken era. I made a video very similar to this about how, hey, if we don't maintain cordial, constructive criticism, we're gonna lose access to one of the most open developers in the business. And now here we are, like 3 years later, and that's more or less what happened. And an interesting anecdote, and this is what we'll end the video on, this is what I'll compare it to. The other main game I play when I'm not working on Destiny content is a game called Teamfight Tactics. It's an auto battler, auto chess game made by Riot Games. It's a lot like Dota 2 auto chess. It's fantastic. And one of the best parts about the game is that the lead game designer is a man named Riot Mordog, who streams every weekend, uploads regular YouTube content, engages in regular multiple hour-long AMAs, answers questions his entire stream on his off days, just answering community questions, engaging with community feedback, talking with the community, playing the game. Like, he identifies bugs in real time, and he knows, oh, we messed up here. This balance change was bad. Well, maybe we'll try to make a tweak like this, or when we try to make this change, we're trying to accomplish X. And that is an unbelievable amount of access for the player in terms of information. And even then, Riot more acknowledges that it's hard to maintain because I get so many death threats, I get so much harassment, I get so much vitriol from the people I'm just trying to inform, for the people I'm just trying to create a game that hopefully entertains them in this weird, fucked up world we live in, where we're just trying to get an escape and enjoy our video games, man. And from the perspective of a developer, how can I not feel jaded when all I'm trying to do is deliver a product? And if we make a mistake, it's not just, hey, this is bad, this fucked up, we should try and fix this. It's, oh, you don't know what you're doing, you're incompetent, you should lose your job, what the fuck is wrong with you? And that level of vitriolic communication, man, I can only imagine how much it grates on you as the years go by. When your intentions are good, you can't ascribe bad intentions to changes because it's bad business to make a change to deliberately mess with the community. So it's difficult, man. I want Bungie to be open like they used to be. I want to be in a position where I could reach out to a PvP dev and ask him questions about the inner workings of the game. But because of how we, and I do mean we as a community, have chosen to act, that bridge is now probably permanently closed. And it's frustrating. And maybe it'll open back up one day, but I don't know. It's going to take such a drastic shift in how we communicate about Destiny. And I don't even know how to go about it because I don't know if I walk the line myself. I've made some pretty inflammatory remarks. I've said that things in this game are unacceptable, or I've been heated when discussing my opinions of the balance of the game. Have some of what I said been over the line? I have no idea, because what's the line anymore? Anyway, these are the things that I think about when it comes to the state of the game. Obviously, PvP is in a really weird spot. It's so hard to make a judgment about the state of the game right now. And ultimately, you know, some people call it false positivity, some people call it Bungie shilling. I do believe in the ability of the game to get better because they've done it time and time and again. I do wonder sometimes why they make decisions that they do, but at the end of the day, I'm not the guy in the meetings making those decisions, so I can only really frame it from what we see. And we just need to be careful about how we frame criticism because it's so easy to lose the good faith of the people who are just trying to make the game. And we're almost to that extent. Anyway, that was a lot longer than I thought it would be. Like I said, you guys don't have to watch all of this. No big deal. Yeah, I guess that's going to be it for this video. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.